think of military robots, the Terminator movies probably come to mind. The scary thing is, they're getting closer to reality.
You are going to see fully autonomous systems.
Ukraine's robots have just forced Russian troops into a pathetic surrender.
They're sea drones, remote-controlled, extremely effective.
The drone that somehow penetrated the Israeli defense system.
Today's wars are full of unmanned systems, but in the future, it could be software, not soldiers, telling them to pull the trigger. In a world of generative AI, where drones can hunt in packs and algorithms find targets, what will robotic warfare look like?
Once it's released, it's kind of uncontrollable. You've given it a target.
And will it even be fought on Earth?
I can absolutely envision future conflicts where space is heavily targeted.
In September 2020, Azerbaijan's border patrol posted this video to YouTube. It was part of the country's propaganda war with Armenia, as their fighting over the contested region of Nagorno-Karabakh began. It's not the music that makes this war remarkable. It's the weapons, here, in this truck.
In Nagorno-Karabakh, there was a stark asymmetry where the Azerbaijanis used an array of different unmanned systems or drones to defeat the Armenian forces quite decisively. They had Turkish TB2s as well as different Israeli-made loitering munitions.
Loitering munitions are drones that can select and attack a target on their own within a certain area. In other words, once a human fires them, they can seek and destroy autonomously. Their use in Nagorno-Karabakh, some say, makes this war a watershed, the first war won primarily with unmanned systems. And some of them might have chosen their own targets. But drones haven't always been so independent.
Most drones today are not actually autonomous. They are remotely piloted vehicles.
During America's war on terror, the US and its allies remotely controlled drones over a host of countries. That remote control was a weakness, but it was rarely exploited.
In the last 20 years of counterterrorism operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, electronic warfare, including jamming, was not really a feature of warfare.
America's opponents couldn't stop the remote control of the drones, and they didn't have any of their own.
That's because drones were, at that time, very expensive, but over time, they began to experiment with DJI quadcopters. And from there, you've seen commercial drones have become readily available. They're very cheap.
This new affordability of drones changed everything. Almost since the very beginning of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, drones have been the signature weapon of the war.
Ukrainians started using drones to overcome an ammunition shortage, and now they're in the sky, they're now appearing on the ground, they're hitting short-range targets, they're hitting long-range targets.
Drones might be cheaper now, but they have the same weakness. They need to be in constant contact with their pilot via a radio signal to fly. Jam that signal, and you take out the drone.
That is in turn causing both sides to look for alternative solutions that can overcome jamming.
The most efficient solution is a drone that doesn't need a pilot at all.
What both sides are now doing is trying to develop a greater AI capability so that these drones don't actually need either cable or an operator. They learn using AI what this target looks like, how it behaves.
Drones with some degree of autonomy are now common on the battlefield. But full autonomy, where drones can choose and destroy their targets with no human input at all, has yet to be seen, although it is getting closer.
I think you are going to see more automation. Jamming is leading towards the search for fully autonomous drones.
As the prospect of a military machine that can think for itself moves from science fiction to reality, it's not just Ukraine's skies that offer a glimpse of the wars of the future, but also its seas.
The Black Sea is one of the areas where the Ukrainians have been most successful with drone boats to drive back the Russian Black Sea fleet. You haven't seen fully autonomous drone boats yet, but one area where you absolutely will see more autonomy is under the sea.
Drone boats and submarines can level the playing field between small and large sea powers. As the robots take over the oceans, the days of large manned navies might be over. And even on dry land, unmanned systems are making their mark.
China's military has released this video of a four-legged robot marching through a field with an automatic rifle mounted on its back.
Many countries have showcased robot dogs as part of their armies. In Ukraine, they're used as scouts, but other robots are being deployed with more offensive missions.
In Ukraine, I've already seen unmanned turrets, the machine guns that have a camera attached to them and AI-assisted targeting. That these platforms have already been mounted on vehicles with wheels, and they can be controlled and moved to attack enemy positions.
Whether it's on land, in the air, or in the sea, the war in Ukraine shows how important robots will be in future wars. But their next big step won't just be autonomy, it'll be teamwork too. Being hunted by a single drone is terrifying enough. Facing a swarm of them could be the stuff of nightmares. And thanks to AI, it could soon be a reality.
Swarming would be a huge step forward for drone warfare. China has invested a good bit in swarming technology. You've seen these autonomous drone light swarms, light shows that they have conducted in lieu of fireworks at different times.
A future war over Taiwan would probably see drone swarms unleashed by both sides. The US Navy even has a name for their plan to field tens of thousands of robots and drones. An unmanned Hellscape.
Hellscape is an idea that has emerged from the United States Indo-Pacific Command. The idea here is to use tens of thousands of very small drones from across all domains. So in the air, on the surface of the ocean, under the ocean, probably on the land. A Hellscape strategy is really a blunting strategy.
And this isn't just an American idea. China has reportedly built an unmanned mothership capable of releasing up to 100 smaller drones at a time. Swarms like this are only possible with AI. To work together, drones need to make decisions faster than human pilots could.
A key idea of many future warfighting concepts is being able to make decisions more quickly than your adversary. And artificial intelligence is seen as the key factor that can enable you to move faster.
Military robots that can think and act faster than humans might make better soldiers. But for now, at least, the decision of who to kill still rests with a human. Although that might change.
It's quite a big thing to hand over the decision over whether to take a life to a machine, essentially. However, the demands of war means that it is going to become increasingly likely that we see more and more autonomy on the battlefield.
But whoever's making decisions, communication in war will still be vital. And that creates a new battlefield, one certainly more suited to machines.
New concerns about China's fast-growing military activity in space.
In a future war over Taiwan, China would attempt to block an enemy's communications. And perhaps not just from the ground.
One of the key trends that we're seeing in the threat space is the Chinese are practicing maneuvering satellites in space, practicing what one U.S. Space Force general called dogfighting in space, where they had several satellites were all maneuvering together. So maybe similar to in air where you'd see a formation of several aircraft maneuvering together.
And it's not just China. Some suspect Russia are preparing to launch a nuclear bomb into space. But weapons in orbit aren't just a danger to those in zero gravity.
The Chinese have demonstrated a capability to orbit objects that then re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and strike a target on the ground. You're seeing it also with missile defense, so leveraging the space domain for intercepting incoming ballistic missiles. We're seeing that with the US President's announcement of this Golden Dome missile defense initiative.
The final frontier is now fair game for fighting. Wherever they are, Battlefields of the future will be seeing more robots and drones, many with the ability to find and destroy targets by themselves. What this means for tomorrow's wars is an open question, but whatever the answer, a human cost will still have to be paid.
Although we may well see in the not distant future robots fighting robots, the higher value target will still be the people that develop them. There's still going to be a human cost to any war in future.